Yeah, like.
And zoom in on the tear, on just the one tear.
You ever seen the Michael Jordan meme? Where it's like,
Oh yeah. Shit, yo.
did you get that pic I sent? Where? I haven't sent it. Here, you can post this one.
You
Screw though. This look like a fucking African starving. Feed me now. Holy shit.
Did I send it?
What? Yes. Yo, he said it to me twice.
Just have Jay sit on the floor. We'll all just talk. What time's your client?
Right now.
Lock it in there.
Are we both in the frame good?
Lock your phone over. Yeah. Do you want me to set up the monitor picture? See each other?
I don't know. No. Beth, are you ready? Are you ready?
I feel like
We're gonna podcast the fuck out of you and see you cry over this fucking seat. You're gonna get podcasted so hard. There's gonna be tears in this chair. Until you leave the room crying, we're not stopping.
the problem is like talking with Dan, like you end up like in deep ass conversations that you don't.
What you want? Natural.
I'm gonna bring it out of you, Beth. I'm gonna draw out all the sorrows of your soul.
Those are deep. You might start crying.
I might.
We'll cry together. There's some deep sorrows.
Wait, but if he has to leave, leave now then, so that we don't leave during your...
Right now.
So I don't hear that door slam.
And Jay gave me an energy drink, so I'm good.
Good.
We're happy.
Should we get thrilled?
We're happy.
We have like 600 milligrams of caffeine.
I wouldn't be able to sit here.
Thanks.
I feel like I'm being finessed into like the deepest.
Is this the
therapy
fucking word of the
session my
day?
life.
Finesse? Like my little cousin, what is this? Finesse? Like finessed,
How do
finessed,
you not know what finessed means?
Finessed.
It means like to be tricked into something.
tricked.
I feel like I'm being finessed
Into what?
in a therapy session.
Mm.
This is exactly what it's gonna be like
Have you ever been in a therapy session?
for multiple years.
That's fucking so sad. You're still such a dick.
I can.
What the fuck do you guys do in therapy? Do you speak? Is your therapist deaf?
Don't worry, yeah, this isn't working.
Jesus Christ, she's fucking playing Sudoku.
I don't think she was qualified for the job.
Jesus Christ.
She quit after me. She never came back to therapy.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, this is not video. He was like, so Beth, tell me how fucked up you are.
You're gonna put on that voice thing this time, right? So Beth declared that she's fucked up and she goes to therapy and been in therapy. And we're gonna dig a little deeper into
Multiple years to be exact.
why Beth is the way she is, because she's such a pleasant person and has a avid dating life and she's so social.
I'm
So
loved by many, including my cat. So.
what made you seek out therapy? We could edit out the part where I said Beth is fucked up. She's kind of fucked up, though.
It wasn't really like I didn't. It wasn't something that I looked for. I was like,
It found you.
Yeah,
A therapist is
therapy
like,
found
get the fuck in here.
It's like that girl. She fucking needs this. It's like that girl. Like I was just innocently in class one day, and the therapist was like, "That one, she looks fucked up."
The dark girl drawing pictures of like tortured animals. Come into the office.
Like you need to come here.
So how did it stumble upon you?
Well, I kind of like was going through like a lot of like emotions at the time, and
How old were you?
I was probably like 14, 15, and I was the teachers in the school noticed like something was wrong because I was a really intelligent student and I got good grades, but my behavior was always off. And
Off like you would act out in class?
I would act out a lot, and teachers would always pull me to the side and like have conversations.
Like you have so much potential. Why are you wasting your life
exactly,
like that?
like the potential stuff.
Yeah.
And I would always just stand there like upset, like you don't know what the fuck I'm going through, like because I had like a lot of family issues at home that I couldn't discuss with anybody.
Were you living at home at the time?
Yeah, I was with my parents. I lived with my 2 parents and my 2 brothers.
And then what were you going through with your parents that you couldn't discuss with anybody? We're going to discuss openly with everybody.
Well, my mom, she was a diagnosed. Oh, okay. So my mom, she's diagnosed schizophrenic bipolar. So it was a lot to deal with that in itself.
Always, like as long as like.
Yeah,
you
so
could
I
learn?
wasn't aware of it as a child. I kind of like became aware of it like over the years. And then she admitted that she was like diagnosed with it. But as a child, like you don't see those things. You don't realize those things. You just think that this is my parent. This is how things are. And they're the ones who make decisions. They're the ones that make the rules. So you kind of just go with it.
Would you see her just have a lot of highs and lows?
A lot of highs and lows, a lot of mood swings, a lot of paranoia of like.
Did she hear things?
I'm sure she did, but she's also very religious, so
It was Jesus.
it was Jesus. She was saying Jesus. God was talking to her. God told her.
So scary, right? How many people
Yeah,
say that?
Yeah, like, and there were even like instances where like she said, "Oh, God told me that you're gonna be murdered," right? So when one of my brothers passed away, when he died, her initial instinct was, "It should have been you, because God told me that you were supposed to
Oh
die."
my God.
So there are like things like that in her head are normal, and I understand that now.
But as a kid, you take it as my mom hates me.
Yeah,
Like,
as a kid, like I grew up thinking that my mother absolutely despised me, and going through life like, my mom hates me. How can anyone love me? How can anyone possibly love me? My own mother doesn't love me. And then my father just took like a back seat to everything. Whatever she said went, and I think that for him it was just like he understood that she had issues, and for to make his life better, he wasn't gonna like clash with her. So it was just a lot of that, and me balancing everything and always being alone because my brothers had each other and I always was alone in my room. So
how old were you, like the age difference with you and your brothers?
one of my brothers is a year older than me, so he just turned 30, and the other one, he's probably like 6 years older than
But
me.
you weren't close with them?
No, I was at one point with one of my brothers, but then because I was so different from my family, like for some reason I've always chose to be my own mind, and my brothers weren't. They kind of followed my mom's rules. We were close up until they made him my guardian, and he started like telling my parents everything that I did.
gotcha.
So then we ended up clashing, and then we just kind of like from there, I've never really had a connection with them.
Did you ever feel at any points like close with your mom, or realize like maybe once she was diagnosed, you have like a close relationship because you realized it wasn't personal, the things she was saying about you?
I haven't got to that point up until I think like recently. I can say within the past 2 years, and that only came because my oldest brother passed away, and she's left with my nephew. So I kind of like made it an effort
To help.
to kind of like be more involved with my family for him. So it's more I have to make it work than want to make it work.
So at 14, you're going through a lot of this, not understanding, that your mom had these diseases, and you felt, a certain way about this or how she treated you. And then how'd you find your first counselor therapy?
Well, so I was having a lot of issues in school, and they had put me with a counselor. And as I was talking to the counselor, I told her that I had attempted suicide, which was, I had attempted suicide, and in my head, I had taken some pills that were in a bottle that were oxycodone, and at the time I knew what they were. But they switched the bottles. Apparently it was Tylenol, but I had downed the whole bottle, and I left a note out, and I just went to bed that night hoping that the next morning I'll be dead.
But you took Tylenol instead.
Yeah, it was just Tylenol. So I woke up tight, right? So I was like, all right, tonight's gonna be the night.
But you had
I was pissed.
but you
I
had
was
no
like,
muscle
what
pain.
the fuck? Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this? Why am I not dead? I was tight, right? So next morning, the note I forgot about, like I had put it in my drawer, forgot
I
about
think
it.
we should be laughing about suicide. I'm not trying to like laugh about that. I'm laughing about the town. Like,
It's like it's not like a topic to laugh about, but I think like you have to, when it's your own experience, you have to look back at it and see like that you're still here and try to make it a light moment. Try to
but did that make you have any more like religious faith that like this fucking drastic change happened at you knowing it literally saved your life?
I mean, I always nothing has shaken my faith really.
But when that happened, you're like, wow, this is a sign that maybe I should be alive. Like, I mean, that's pretty big divine intervention. When you think about that.
I think I was in such trauma at the time that to me, death was still more appealing than the fact of I might, and in my religion is you, if you kill yourself, you go to hell. That
But even when you woke up alive and realized that there was that mistake made that you took the wrong pill,
I still wanted to die.
you still didn't
Like
look
I
at
was
it like.
still ready to go at it the next day because I'm a very determined person. When I make a decision, it's like it's gonna
So then
happen.
what happened next?
So I guess later that day, I remember my mom finding the note. And this was probably like one of the most like craziest things for me. She found the note, and I was laying in bed, and I see her open the drawer. And my heart stops. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, damn. So she sees the note. And my mom's very invasive. She doesn't. She just opens it, and she starts laughing. She reads it. She starts laughing. She was like, what happened? It didn't work. And I remember in that moment, I was like, what the fuck?
But was she joking or was she like?
No, my mom, that's just how she approaches things, and she's always been that way. And I remember her saying that, and I was just like, wow. And that solidified in myself. I was like, damn, like, there's really no point, right? And
But did your mom have a talk with you? Like, why you're so upset? Like, is this, like, did she say anything else?
my mom believed that my depression were demons, and the devil just was trying to take my soul. The devil was using me to get to her. That was her concept. Like the devil wanted to get her so bad that he was using me to manipulate her. So that was her concept of everything.
It's crazy. So when some people are so fanatically religious and have psychiatric disorders, it's kind of scary because your mom lacked any ability to really help you
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, and she again, I didn't realize this till like probably a few years ago. She's still like this, but I'm able to manage it better. She has no control of like the way she processes things or like the way she sees things. Like that's how she sees it and that's just what it is. And I've just learned to like maneuver around it and kind of like just work with it.
So what was your next step after that?
So after that, again, I was still pretty determined, but now she was more vigilant of things, and now I'm like on 24-hour lockdown, so my door couldn't be closed. Like it was just extreme, and already at that point, like I wasn't allowed to talk to friends outside of school. I wasn't allowed to even go outside. Like we needed a key to leave the house. Like it was to that extreme. Like there was no contact with anyone outside of school.
So then you attempted suicide again?
The second time that I did the same thing. But this time the pills kind of like I just didn't take enough the second time, and I ended up in a hospital. And
Did your mom call out the ambulance or who found you?
No, my dad did. He was like, what happened? And I told him, and he was like, all right, we're gonna, and he's very calm. My dad is like a calm person, so he was like, we're gonna take you to the hospital. And I was admitted for a while, and yeah, I was in therapy.
When you came back home, did your parents speak to you about it any differently?
No, my house was very like quiet about emotions. Like they don't acknowledge. No one ever acknowledges your emotions. Like if you feel a type of way, you'll cry it out by yourself, and when you're ready, you come back. That's kind of like how it works. Feelings were never acknowledged, and if you were crying or if you had an emotion, there had to be like a really valid reason. Otherwise, like.
So then after therapy, did that help? When you were like, I guess you had mandatory therapy in the hospital, right?
Yeah, so the therapy was mandatory for a while, and it was like forced, not on my part. Like my mom didn't want me to go, so the state had to force her to take me because There's also like child abuse involved.
Your mom
too.
didn't probably believe in it.
Yeah, she didn't believe in it, and
Like Tom Cruise.
she didn't believe in it, and she was like, "Nah, it's the devil. Everything is the devil." So after like the court stopped being involved, my mom pulled me out of therapy, and I just never went back. Like,
So, when's the first time in your life that you felt like someone cared about you and you could actually express emotions in like a healthy way?
be open, like freely with emotion.
So let's say you talked to your mom and your mom wasn't receptive to hearing your emotions because she didn't believe in that, and your dad was kind of like maybe more quiet or invisible with his, you talking to him. So when's the first time you talked to someone where you could talk about emotions? You felt like someone cared about you. Was it like a relationship? Was it a therapist? Was it a teacher?
I think the first time I experienced like someone that I could say cared about me and I cared about them the same way, I guess. Enough. Someone I cared about enough to let care about me. I think that that's a better way to put it, because I know that people care about me, but it's more like, how much am I going to care in return, you know?
So who's this person?
He was a doctor that I used to work for. He was like 90 years old. His name was Dr. Capalvo. And he was like the roughest, like straight to your face. Like he's going to tell you exactly what you don't want to hear, but that you need to hear. And I remember I was overweight at the time, and I had started working at his office, and I think it was like 2 days in. He closed the doors, and he was like, "I need to tell you something." He's like, "You know you're fat, right?" And I remember in that moment, like I was just like, "Who the fuck does this dude?" And I wanted to slap him. Like my first instinct was slap. And then I stopped, and I was like, "Yo, he's right though. Like he's right."
Did you think at that time you're overweight? People, I guess, what's your weight now?
I weigh not even, like 119 right now.
And what was your weight like then?
At that time, I was like 180.
So if people want to see her before and after pictures, you can go on her page, and it is pretty crazy. Actually, I completely forgot about the whole thing. I really did. Like, I'm so focused on your shitty personality that I forgot that there was even a weight issue. Your personality distracts me from your weight issues. But so you have a shitty childhood. Your mom thinks you have demons in you.
Yeah.
You try to commit suicide twice, and the doctor says that you're fat. So this is going like great
Like,
for your
I'm
self-esteem.
having the best life at this point.
Yeah.
Like I'm living my best life at this point. You know, shitty childhood, first boss I ever encountered.
Says you're fat.
You're a piece of shit. You're fat. I was like, I know.
So that would happen.
So, like, for some reason, at first I got like really offended, but then I walked out the room, and I remember my first thought was, "But that's how he is." Right? Because I remember like in the first few days of me seeing him, he was like that with everybody. So I'm like, I can't get mad at him because that's how he is, right?
He's older, right?
Yeah, he's like 90. I can't fight a 90-year-old. Like he's fragile, right? And that made me self-reflect. And I remember like maybe like 2-3 days after that, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start working out. And I started working out in my house.
Did you have any idea like what that even was, or?
No, I threw on like a YouTube thing, and I remember from that first workout that I did, like I felt like endorphins and just like a euphoria. Like I felt like I was high. Like it was the best feeling I've ever felt in my whole entire life, and that's why I love working out, because I want that feeling every single time. There's nothing in this world that makes me feel like working out makes me feel. Like there's nothing wrong when I'm working out. Nothing matters when I'm working out. And if I come in and I feel agitated or aggravated, like I'm in my workouts, I'm sorting out my mind. My mind gets sorted out.
I wish I felt like that. No, I really do. Like, I really wish, like, I worked out. When I work out with you, I want to punch you in your face. Like, I feel none of that euphoric feeling.
Because I'm fighting my demons. That's
guess.
why.
I wish it was, yeah. I wish I enjoyed it as much as you. So you had this first workout.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is life-changing. I feel amazing.
Yeah, so I relate Dr. Capalbo to that, because he was the first person to, like, make me want to work out. Then like just him in general, like he was just that person to like tell me everything, and we got really close. Like I was the person like he would call like to ask for everything, and I would call him and he would ask me for everything. Like we were like best friends, and like my best friend was like a 90-something-year-old older man who had all this life experience. He was in World War II. Like,
oh shit! How long did that relationship last?
It was like 3 years till he passed. I remember
Was that really hard for you when he passed?
it was hard, but I took like I saw it coming, so I detached. The second I saw it coming, I was like gone. I was like, I remember seeing him in the hospital. He had a heart attack, and he was he was the most resilient man I've ever met in my life. He had 3 different cancers. He had half a lung. He had his prostate was removed.
He's in World War II. He's probably like, this is nothing.
Yo, this
he's like,
man was
he's
the
like, fuck this
most-
cancer bullshit.
This man was the most amazing man I've ever met. Like it was just amazing just knowing him. And I remember he had a heart attack, and I went to the hospital to see him. I remember the person I saw wasn't the man that I knew, and I knew he was gonna die.
Yeah.
And I wanted to remember him for the person that I remembered him to be. Fuck. And so I regret not going to see him, but I also don't, because I want to remember him like I remember him to be.
When you saw him in the hospital, I'm sure he was happy to see you, right?
Yeah, I remember him calling me, and I remember going, and he was always this like rough person, so a lot of people didn't like him. Like a lot of people hated him, and I went. Like the nurses were like, "How do you know him?" Like, and they asked him, and they were like so like confused as to our friendship, and they were like so confused as to why he was so nice to me. He was mean to everybody. Why he was so nice to me, and why I was so nice to him, and it spoke loudly of like who he was, and like people just knew him to be that person, and to get close to someone that is not known for closeness meant a lot.
Once you saw him that one day, how long after until he died?
I think he died a week later.
Wow, so it was really decent.
And he always said he was like he had a heart attack like the day he sold his office, and he always said the day that I stopped working as a doctor is the day I die.
That's crazy.
And that man literally meant that, because he sold his office, had a heart attack, and died like 2 weeks later max.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Once you started working out, did you have any idea, like, how, I'm sure you changed like your eating too, right? Did you try to make better choices? Like, how'd you go from being, really out of shape to being in like a decent shape without any knowledge?
Well, yeah, initially I just did it like cold. Like I was like, I'm not gonna eat anything, so I was eating like one meal a day, and it was like this tiny little salad. I was working out like twice a day. I got a little obsessive with it, so I kind of developed like an eating disorder and like overworking out, and I got really, really skinny. And
how long did that take?
That was like within a few months I had dropped like at least 50 to 60 pounds.
Like 6 months?
Yeah, like 6 months. I would say about in 6 months I lost like 50 pounds easy, but it was the wrong way. I was looking like very skinny, very malnutrition. And I started realizing that, and I said, I need to start educating myself and figure out what I'm doing wrong.
So what, you started looking into like exercise, diet, like learning about personal training?
Yeah, I started educating myself more, changed my training. I started eating better. But again, that comes, finding the right diet, finding the right workout plan comes over years, because your body always changes, and you always need to do like different things, and you learn more new things about your diet as you continue to go. So
let's take a detour. So that was the first person that you had like a positive, healthy relationship with, right?
Yeah.
And you were how old when that whole thing happened with the doctor?
I was probably like 20, maybe like 20 years old.
And then what was the next meaningful person in your life? A boyfriend?
Nah, I wouldn't. I don't even think I get that close. Relationships are different. It's hard. Relationships, I feel like.
At 20, did you have any like meaningful relationships?
Yes, I was with my ex-husband at the time. Yeah, who was like my best friend for a long time, and not that I never cared about him or didn't. Meaningful to me means like I can rely. Like there's a certain kind of reliance that I can put on you, which I don't feel like I can do with anybody.
You didn't feel like you did with your ex-husband?
No, because it was always a sense of I have to pull you. Like I've always been the one that had more motivation, or I've been more driven. So it's like I have to push myself, pull myself, and you too.
Well, 180 it'd be hard to pull you.
Nah, he was bigger than me. He was bigger. He was like a solid
Just
2 something, 6'1".
I hope people know that we like know each other well.
No.
Imagine this is the first podcast.
Like, what the fuck?
So, all right. Other than the doctor, fast forward. So, doctors. Who's the next person that was like really important?
Really important.
Yeah. Was it just him?
I think, yeah, maybe my nephew. I think my nephew holds a lot of importance in my life, and he, like I mentioned earlier, he's like a driving force of why I chose to reconnect with my family, and that's big, because I'm choosing like a pain, like I'm reintroducing a pain that I had already cut off years ago. But I would say like my nephew is someone.
How old were you when you moved out?
I was 21 when I left my home.
And where'd you go?
I went to live with my husband at the time.
And then you guys broke up.
Yeah.
And then where'd you go?
And I lived alone for a little while. And then I lost my apartment at that time.
How were you affording to live alone at that time? What were you doing for it?
So I had like, how many jobs did I have at that time? I had a few jobs. So I was working as a medical assistant part-time. I was a bartender. I was working in a deli, and I was a personal trainer. Yeah. I had 4 jobs at the time. And just to like, and it was all like, they were all like part-time jobs. So, and I wasn't really focused too, because at that time I went through a break where I wasn't in fitness. So fitness has always created like a kind of structure for me. And in that time when I had the 4 jobs, I didn't have time to work out. So everything was all over the place.
You felt worse mentally?
Yeah, mentally it was like the worst point in my life. Anytime fitness is not the priority in my life, I go through the worst.
Like depression?
Yeah, depression or the worst experiences. Everything is not structured. Everything feels wrong. Like nothing feels right.
So, all right. So then what happened? So you were living by yourself, working 4 jobs, and then what happened?
And then I had ended up with someone different, and he got me a dog, which was cute. He was a cute little puppy. He was a
Wait, did you have Boots at the time?
Yeah, I had Boots at the time.
So he always came with you?
Yeah, Boots has been with me since.
Tell people who Boots is.
Come on, if you don't know who Boots is, like
Boots is like a handsome cat.
Boots is the sexiest cat you will ever meet.
He looks like the real Puss in Boots.
No, because Puss in Boots is yellow or like orange. No, he's orange.
I guess, but Puss in Boots is handsome.
Boots has little white boots. That's why Boots is.
Fine, fair enough. So then what happened? You were living in the apartment.
Yeah.
You lost the apartment.
I lost the apartment because of the dog, because I wasn't supposed to have a dog. So I lost the apartment. And at that time when I was losing the apartment, I had already wanted to break up with the guy that I was with, because it just wasn't, it was another situation in which.
Was it because you got really fit and he didn't?
No!
Come on, man.
That was with my ex-husband. That was with my ex-husband.
But this is a different person.
This is a different person, yeah. So at this point, it's someone else. And I had already I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Because again, now I want to transition. I had started to realize like I was plummeting, and I wanted to transition into like a better way of thinking. Thankfully, I've always been able to pinpoint when I'm spiraling and change it. And I had wanted to leave that relationship, lost my apartment. So I called my mom like, hey, want to come home?
And that was probably an awful feeling.
Jesus. It took everything in me to even, I thought about living in my car. I thought about, fuck it, I could live in the gym. No one will know. Like I thought about every other option before that. Obviously the guy that I was with at the time, he had offered for me to stay with him and his family. I really didn't want to do that. So I was like, let me ask my mom. My mom says yes. It comes 2 days before I'm supposed to move in. I FaceTime her. And my mom's very religious. And I think like the week prior, I had got a side cut. Like I cut the side of my head and I had all of this done. So she FaceTimes me. I answer. Like, hey, I'm just packing my stuff. She sees me on FaceTime. She's like, did you cut your hair? The whole side? I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, it's probably best you don't come home. So I'm like 2 days from moving. I'm like, fuck. Like, what do I do now? Like, I have nowhere to go. Like, what am I supposed to do? So for a little while, like, I just didn't have anywhere to go. And then I finally decided, you know what? I'm just going to live with the guy that I'm with. So I stood in a longer relationship than I wanted to and ended up living with him for a little while. More so like living out of my car, because I would never go there. Like, I just felt so uncomfortable being in someone else's house like that. So I would just...
It's great that after all those years, your mom was really... You could
yeah, I'm like, thanks, Mom. I'm like, thanks. And my dad never knew about this. I literally told my dad like a few days ago about what happened. He was like, I never knew that. He's like, that's freaking crazy. I never knew that. He was like, I thought you just chose not to come home.
So then, where was the next? Where'd you end up next?
So yeah, I lived with him for a while, and then finally, I was able to like save enough money to like get my own place. And I spoke to him. I was like, look, I honestly, this is not working. I'm gonna find a place where I can like live. And thankfully, one of my clients was moving out of her apartment, and I ended up living in her apartment. So I've been there.
And that's where you are now.
Yeah. I've been there since, living by myself.
And then you've been.
Oh, with boots.
And when did you start personal training full time?
I started personal training full time maybe in the end of 2018 probably. I remember because I was still doing I was a medical assistant in an oncology clinic and that was the only job I had left all the other jobs and just kept that one. And I was doing training. And then finally I was like, you know what? Let me just do what I'm really passionate about. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I can't invest 50-50 if I want 100% of the results of being able to make this a career.
And then when I met Beth, she's at a low point in her life because I think she was coming from hydrogen fitness, was it?
No. He just wants to add the shade. So guys, Pump Fitness is the best gym in Westchester.
No, but anyway.
Pump Fitness, guys.
So then you so you're personal training at different spots here and there.
Yeah. I was traveling. Actually, during the pandemic was when I really chose to like go on my own, because I was working for like gyms. I was working for LA Fitness full time, and then pandemic hit, and I was like, why am I working for somebody? I could like just do this myself. During the pandemic, it was the best thing that's ever happened because I was able to branch out and like create my own business
and make way more per hour.
Make way more money and like do my own.
How much are you making at LA Fitness per session? Not like
per session, like
35.
So you start off with like $9 for half an hour. Like they do 25-minute sessions.
Okay.
Start at $9. You have to work your way up to like a master trainer, and then they give you a percentage of the package that it's different prices per person, and that sucks. You can just charge whatever you want if you're.
What were you making per hour there? What could you be making per hour if you were a master trainer there?
Per hour, you can make like around maybe 30. 40 at max if the person's paying like the higher end of the package.
But then you realize you could train these clients at their house and make 100
exactly. Or you can find a location like Pump Fitness.
She wasn't always here. She has a darker past, so she trained at other gyms. We won't mention the other gyms. It's okay.
You want to mention the other. He wants to mention the other. Just give us a name. Just one name. Just give us one name.
Losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning. I don't need to mention the other gyms. It's okay. Like that?
I like that. I like that.
So then Beth was like, Dan, I see your gym. I want to train here so bad.
Please, Dan.
And I was like, we kind of have a full staff. You're kind of strange, a little dark. I'm not. No, you're actually were the easiest person. You came in here and you were the first person actually paid on time. Like you were actually the easiest. Like
I paid
trainer.
Once I walked out.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I walked out. I remember walking in here and seeing Oats. Oats was the first thing I saw, and I was like, why the fuck is there a pit bull in the gym?
This is how you roll.
And then Dan, of course, was because Dan is always doing shoulders. I swear to God, I walked in here and he was doing shoulders.
Your screen broke.
He was doing shoulders.
So yeah, we have Oats. I do a lot of shoulders, and it is what it is. And then what? So let's circle back to
Depression. Okay.
Because a lot of times I didn't know about this until like I saw some of your stories, and then you would say that sometimes you had like debilitating depression where you couldn't get out of bed, and everybody here who knows you would think that that's strange, right? Because you're always upbeat, a little annoying, but upbeat. And so I don't think people would ever imagine you not getting out of bed.
Yeah, I think.
But when I saw, who would ask you how you are all the time?
All right, Dan. Dan's always checking in on me. I gotta give that to Dan. Dan always checks in on me. If I'm not here for a few days, like he'll check in on me. Like, or if we're just in passing and I was here later, or he'll definitely be like, I haven't seen you. Like, are you okay? Which is necessary, especially for somebody like me who isn't gonna reach out. I won't reach out for help. I won't say that something's wrong. So like things like that mean a lot. Like
so. aside from that, so then how do you deal with? And again, Beth's also competing. I don't know if people realize that when you diet and you cut your carbs and cut your fat, it can make the most normal person feel insane. So if you have somebody who has depression or any type of like anxiety, I do feel like it amplifies that dramatically. And I feel like people don't understand that. And I think it's I think you have to know going into it like what to expect, because it could be like scary and like a shock.
Yeah.
So some days, and we'll get back to you dieting in a second, but just the fact of having some days, and people don't understand this too, and I've talked to you about this. So some days you could wake up with just really crippling feeling, right? Just out of the blue, you just feel like a wave of like, I don't know, sadness or
Yeah.
depression that makes you not want to do anything.
It's more like a feeling of like you just have no desire for
Like
anything.
loss of all motivation.
A loss of all motivation, a sense of like you don't matter, like nothing you do has purpose. And there's like the rational part of yourself that knows that it's not true, right?
But the feeling's so strong.
But yeah, it's like this feeling that you can't shake. And I think a lot of people misinterpret like, oh, you're just sad. It's not just sad. Like, and I can determine the two too. I've been through sad moments. I've been through things that have broken me as a person, and that have caused depression. But then there's the sadness that is just there,
Right.
that has no reason. Like, and most of the time now, because I don't dwell in the past of what happened, most of the time now when I feel those things, it's there for no reason. So it's that internal battle of like I have to pick myself up.
But did you always feel like that as a kid, or was it something more recent when you're older, like this, like kind of waves of depression?
So I think when I was younger, it was more depression based
On
because of
situation.
environmental like depression. But as I got older, it
It would come out of the blue.
Yeah, which I think is more like the bipolar aspect of my depression, because I am diagnosed.
But do you think you got it from your mom, like hereditary?
I think it is hereditary, because my dad also has depression as well. His is just a little bit different. He was also hospitalized for depression. So definitely in my family, there's a lot of like mental health problems.
So some days you wake up, you feel super unmotivated, and how do you like force yourself out of bed to train in those moments?
So like the days that I wake up that are really, really hard, and I'm not gonna lie, there are days that I'll wake up and I'll cancel my whole day because it's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, but on the days that I can physically like push myself, the one thing I think about is you push your clients every day. I can't be a hypocrite. Like, I'm big on representing what I preach, or I can't say something and not live behind it. So if I'm in here telling my client or texting my client, hey, you told me you were going to be here, be accountable, then I have to do the same thing. So I think that's just having my clients drives me. They drive me because I know how much they believe in me or see what I do and want to do the same thing.
And do you know that like when you feel like that, where you don't want to get out of bed and train, that once you train, you'll feel better? So just kind of like getting it to like get into a training session.
Definitely once I get into a session, like, and some of my clients, they'll even tell you like, I'll start off moody, or like a little annoyed, but once the session is going and flowing, like fuck you. I'm not always moody.
Anyway, so once you start working out, you feel better. You're happy to be around. And now you're doing your first fitness show, and that's scheduled when?
Yeah, October 21st. 8 weeks. Tomorrow's 8 weeks.
And what show are you doing?
I am doing Christian Guzman's Your Favorite Person, right? It's your favorite person. Dan loves Christian Guzman. We're going to tag him. That's who we should tag. We should tag Christian Guzman. That's going to be controversial.
Yeah, anyway. Uh-huh. So you're doing
October 21st.
And where's the show?
Houston, Texas.
And how has dieting been for this show?
So I started my prep like really early, like earlier than I think most people would, but because I know myself, I know I'm super anxious and I just wanted to I wanted to give myself time. I wanted to give myself time to like prepare myself mentally and stuff like that. So
and you did like a little practice pre-cutting and then a bulking.
Yeah,
phase, right?
I did a pre-cut. So in the pre-cut, like I dropped like 10 pounds, and then after that I gained maybe like 10 to 12 pounds, and then now we're back down, and we're gonna try to maintain that till maybe a few weeks.
And now there's the first time though that you actually kind of cut calories more severe, right?
Yeah, like this was like a big cut of calories, more so fats. I have a lot less fats than I did the first cut.
And how do you feel mentally when your fats drop?
It's rough.
It's
Like,
rough.
yo, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember what day it was. Whatever day I wanted to rip your heads off.
People don't
I
understand-
came in here and I was like, I'm done. Oh, we posted. No, we can't add that.
Wednesday.
The 5 o'clock, whatever day that was, I was not. Yeah, it was bad. Like, and I went into like, after I left here, I went into the deepest depression that like I haven't felt like that. And I think I can say maybe 4 months. I haven't felt like that sad or that
Well,
depressed.
a couple things. One, people who are on keto, when you go low carb, being on low carb and high fat feels like nothing compared to being on low carb and low fat. Just because you need fat or carbs. So you could do low carb all day long. When you have low carb and low fat, you feel like you're starving. Every meal you eat, you feel no satiation, you feel no fullness, and you're just equally hungry every single meal. And it's like, it is a horrible feeling. And it does wear on you. And then we make Beth come in at 4 a.m. because we all team train 3 days a week. And then we did open workout at 5 a.m. But every early morning workout, I hate seeing you. And I go home feeling depressed. I don't have depression.
Dan sees me walking and he's like, oh God.
I hate training at that time. And training legs with Beth at 4 a.m. is hell on earth, literally. It 100% is.
It's the best thing ever.
It's not.
on.
Enrique says the same thing. It's fucking.
Enrique agrees.
it's-
Enrique said I have nice shoulders.
Oh, oh my God. So, amongst
The picture. Enrique said I have nice shoulders.
amongst Beth's severe depression and her not feeling love as a kid, she also never had a shoulder compliment to her life
Yeah, that was my first. That was my first guy.
until her photographer noticed her shoulders and he said, wow, you have nice shoulders. And now it's the thing of the gym
Now it's life changing.
that Beth has shoulders. And yeah, we actually have some great pictures from the early morning workouts.
Yeah.
What's your favorite body part to train?
I actually love to do arms, like biceps and triceps, but I can't do that right now because that's not like part of my training.
Oh, wow. What is your training?
I'm not supposed to target biceps and triceps as much.
You don't want to get it.
Exactly. I don't want any bigger than what I have. So my favorite, like just to focus, is biceps and triceps. I can't do. So right now, I guess it would.
What's
be-
your training split? Why don't you go over that?
So I do. My first day is quads, and then my second day is a pull day. Then rest.
Just back?
Yeah, just back.
You could just
yeah.
say back.
You want me to just fucking say back?
Yeah.
All right, my first day. My first day is quads, then back, and then I call it my rest day, but it's just a cardio day. So an active rest, I guess. And then we'll do glutes and hamstrings, and then shoulders. My favorite.
And if anybody, honestly, I don't give Beth that many compliments. I don't. I think her personality kind of sucks. I think she's occasionally funny, but I do think that she trains harder than almost anybody in the gym, unless I really want to train hard.
Oh yeah, unless Dan decides to work out, then.
But yeah, her leg day is absolutely, yeah. Again, if you guys could come at 5 a.m. and train with us, you could see it's really no hype. Yeah, it's no joke. I think you trained super hard, and also during one of your other dieting phases, you ran like a Tough Mudder.
Yeah.
Right?
That was in my first cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did the Spartan race. I don't even remember what the trifecta. One of the trifecta. Yeah.
And Beth broke. We were doing didn't we do like 100 flight
the
stairmaster?
100-step. Yeah,
We did a 100-step stairmaster challenge in like time, and I think I got it like 18, and Beth got it like 11. And if you understand what that is, you're running at 20 for 11 minutes.
was like,
I don't think
"Yo,
any
bro,
guy can even do that.
You heard it in the gym. All you heard was my feet. Like.
If anybody watching this can get 11 minutes and 100 flights, send it in. Record the full thing, send it in, and we will send you a check and an autographed picture of Beth running on a treadmill. So, oh, by the way, Beth has an Instagram post of her running on a treadmill with how many million views?
2.1 million views.
Because apparently Beth's a world-class sprinter now, and she has.
Fucking run my ass off. The internet thinks so.
Honestly, 11 minutes on the Stairmaster for 100 flights really is no joke. So if you guys could do that, record that and send that in, and we'll give you something
Yeah,
amazing.
we'll give you something. We haven't figured it out yet.
Because that's
but you
insane.
get something.
That's really no joke.
I was booked. Jackie saw me after. She was like, "What number were you on? What level were you on?"
And then after that, both of our Stairmasters broke because everyone's doing that stupid challenge.
I Everybody started trying
yeah.
to do the challenge.
It's awful. Enrique hasn't tried it. Jay hasn't tried it.
Jay tried it, but
What-
Jay gave up at 4 minutes. Jay
The
gave
Jamaican sprinter. It was done.
Which it should be easiest for him because he has like the longest legs.
I don't
Like
know.
Jay should just be like. Bah, 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 bah.
No, I think it's so awful.
I love the Stairmaster. That's like I could get lost on.
What's your favorite meal that's on your plan, and what would be your favorite cheat meal?
My favorite meal that's on my plan? I would say I do shrimp. The shrimp when I have it, I like the
I
shrimp.
like shrimp too.
The little shrimp with
The 4 pieces of shrimp and the 6 pieces of rice.
It's like 8 pieces.
There's definitely people in prison camps that eat more than you. No, for sure.
My meals are like this small. My meals are like the tiniest meals, but it's okay. It's worth it. It's
So,
all part of the
You like shrimp and what?
and potatoes and rice.
And then what would be your favorite cheat meal? Tell them about the last cheat meal you had after you ran your Spartan race. What'd you
I
have?
don't even remember that cheat meal.
Because it was
Do you
it was
know
a day.
the last cheat meal I had was July 1st? No. Yeah, July 1st.
Really?
Yeah. Well, no. July 1st and then a month after, whenever the month after was.
What was your most recent cheat meal?
I think when August maybe.
What was it?
No, I'm lying.
All right, it was a long time ago.
It was like I can't remember. But what did I have? I had shit, I don't even remember. A chicken roll, I think. No, I had a buffalo chicken wrap with sweet potato fries, Zeppeli cannolis. I had Dippin' Dots ice cream.
It all came back to you all of a sudden.
Yeah, 'cause now I'm tasting it. Now I'm tasting it. Dippin' Dots ice cream.
What do you eat?
Fucking-
What do you even find Dippin' Dots? It comes out of a machine.
I ordered it from 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly.
From
Okay.
7-Eleven. The Sweet Tarts Nerd Ropes.
Oh, those are so good. So good.
But I break them apart. And like I only eat the inside and then I'll eat the outside.
Of course you
Like
do.
you have so you have to try it. It's bomb.
We're gonna make this a 2-part interview, in case you're wondering. So you ate like a fat fuck.
Yeah. I think anybody who's like dieting eats like
100%.
shit when they get that. Like,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
once my coach says, he doesn't even have to say cheat meal. Like, that's it. I'm done. I'm already left.
My coach would say cheat meal, and I would hear cheat day. And you guys would see me weigh it on a Friday.
No, on Friday morning, Dan is pulling out cookies.
Oh,
Friday morning after his weigh-in, I swear to God, it could be 4:45 in the morning. After his
Yeah,
weigh-in,
it's-
Dan has a cookie in his hand. He's like,
Yeah.
I already weighed in.
It would go to like cheat weekends, and now I have to take it back to cheat days, and then I'm gonna have to go to cheat meals because my coach can be like, "You're fat as fuck, and you're not gonna make your show." Yeah. So yeah, it's really hard when you're dieting. It's hard to have one meal. It really is. One meal
It
does
is.
nothing.
Yeah. Your hunger never goes away. Like
No.
even once you have that,
It gets
one
worse
little
and worse and
sweet or
worse.
That one little like carby,
Yeah.
like that's it. It's over.
So let's tell people about some little unknown facts about Beth. So,
Unknown
what's your favorite genre of movies, and tell people how you love?
favorite
Yeah, you like that?
favorite genre.
Let's take a guess. It's not romantic comedy.
I like comedies.
Okay.
Comedies. I'm big into comedies. I like documentaries though. I'm into documentaries. I like random knowledge. I like watching Jeopardy, like and answering the questions.
Sounds very
Like
boring.
I'm really weird like that. Like I
Dates
get
are
it.
gonna be so much fun in the future. Go
We'll
ahead.
fucking play Jeopardy all night.
Okay.
Let's go.
What's your favorite hobby?
Do you gym, bro? Like what do you mean? What kind of question is that?
What's your favorite hobby outside the gym?
Gym? No, I like to write poetry.
Fair enough. And what's your favorite type of music?
Oh, that
You like 70s. Just say you like 70s music. You like 70s music and it sucks.
No. I like all music, but because we're bipolar depressive, we go through all the genres. Like
So 70s is like a thing? That doesn't increase depression?
no, 70s is like my chill vibes. Like 70s is when I have no worries.
What do you like to work out to?
I like to listen to rock when I work out. Yeah, I like to rock out. Makes the workout real.
Tell people your Instagram.
My Instagram is BethyBaby213. If you're not following me, then you're not following the best account on Instagram. Sorry.
And then if you're not following our gym account, which is at pumpfitness_gym.
Pump fitness.
And this podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Advanced Molecular Labs. Since Beth is doing her show, she's using the thermal fat burn. And I like the thermal heat chocolate protein. You guys have to give it a try. It's leucine based. It doesn't have too much whey because whey competes with leucine, and we want all the leucine we can have.
And sleep is super important, guys, for muscle growth. the calming cocktail is key. Yeah, it helps you sleep. Rest is
Oh.
important.
You don't sleep that well.
Damn. Shit. I'm trying to promote the calming
but that's why you need it. I know.
So yeah, like I have really bad insomnia. I've literally tried Ambien, melatonin, like some are hit or miss. This calming cocktail puts me to sleep every single night. And like you can even feel like your body goes into like this calm like state.
How long? What's the longest you went with having like really bad sleep? I never had insomnia, so would you just not sleep for a couple of days? Like, how does it work? I don't know.
Yeah, so there's times that like I won't sleep. Like legit, I will probably get like maybe 2 hours of sleep
For how many
in
days?
like 3-4 days. But for some reason, that's when I'm my most productive. I go through like in this manic episode where it's like
You'll sleep 2 hours a night for 3 or 4 days,
yeah,
and then you'll have a day where you sleep more.
no,
It just stays like that.
it's and then
let's-
like it'll just go back to like a regular like.
But is there a day then you'll catch up and you'll sleep for like 6 hours, 7 hours? This is why it's easy for her to wake up at 3:30 workout. Let's just like look at this comparison.
I'm excited in the morning. If I know I'm coming to the gym, I fucking jump out of bed. If I know that I have to, like, the first thing I'm doing is coming to work out, I don't even have to, like, do stretch. Like, no, I'm out. I'm already out
This
the
is
door.
true.
I wake up and my feet are out the door. I mean, if you want to feel better.
In the whole history of our every early morning workout, I've technically never missed a workout. Beth says I have, but I canceled the night before saying I wasn't going to come.
But you canceled the night before in the middle of the night. I woke up expecting to work out with you.
So right now, me and
I
Beth
came and I
are
was
one.
like...
So we both missed one early morning
Yes.
workout ever.
I think me and Dan have the most consistent morning workout streak. We're like at a tie. I'm waiting for him to fuck up one time.
Because even Jesse got sick twice.
Yeah, Jesse canceled
Yeah.
twice. Jay, let's not even get started. Don't get me started on fucking Jay.
But he's been super consistent as of late.
He was late today. I love how he comes in at 5:03 and he's like, I'm on time. Boy, we were supposed to be here at 4:30. What are you talking about?
Yeah, these workouts have been. There's no sleep anymore for anybody.
Nah, yeah. Which is bad, but we'll figure it out.
Put a common cocktail. It's okay.
Common cocktail the shit out of it.
So, like, what do you think about other gyms and the way they do personal training? Just saying. I'm just saying.
Other gyms.
So,
and
what you said before is that Beth suffers from crippling depression where she doesn't want to get out of bed, and you'll still get out of bed to set example for your client.
Yeah.
People fucking have a stomach ache or a late night and they don't want to get up
that
to
shit
train.
gets me tight. That's why I can't, like, excuses get me so mad because my way, I'm limited on making excuses. So when someone gives me an excuse,
For sure.
like, it aggravates me because I'm like, you're not even pushing yourself. Like, you have no desire to push yourself. Push yourself. That's it.
Dan went through a breakup and had to sleep on a massage table for 3 hours with a fucking no sheet. So uncomfortable. And had to wake up and do legs. It was so cold. And no pillow. Can you sleep without a fucking pillow? It's
I
fucking.
sleep without a pillow.
Oh
I
my
don't sleep with a
God.
pillow. I can't sleep with a pillow.
You know what sleeps
I
without a
sleep like
pillow?
this.
Sociopaths. Just saying.
I don't sleep with a pillow.
Anyway, it's whatever.
I mean, there's no better way to wake up to from being cold all night to waking up to my cold ass.
To waking up, all right, sleeping in a fucking massage table with no sheet, no pillow, 3 hours listening to gym music, and then waking up to see your fucking face and then doing legs. If that's not the worst combination of ingredients, like, I don't know what the fuck is, truly.
And morning Beth is a different Beth.
Oh my
like
God.
morning Beth is like exactly like I said. I wake up excited. Like
Yeah, it's too
think
much.
of me on cocaine. Like
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I do not feel like that.
not even fucking rolling out of a massage.
Not the happiest person in the world. But again, like, you have to always show up. And that's why our gym, everybody shows up. The trainers always show up. We have a high standard of trainers and we get a high caliber of clients. And that's just how it has to be.
Yeah, I think that that's what separates us from a lot of other places is that we have a community that that you don't see everywhere. I've worked at a lot of different gyms and I've trained people at different gyms and I've never seen like the connection that we have as like coworkers or just we've developed a lot of friendships and a lot of support. This is just like a great place for support and the energy is just
And I think that's really noted by the type of clients that we end up getting and the type of results that they get. We get a lot of really fit clients, and I think we get that because of, they want to come gym with us for a certain reason. I think we have a certain atmosphere here. And I think our clients get great results from that too. I think
Yeah.
I think if you train with a trainer that's not lifting hard, not dieting, it's not motivating. I don't think they have a lot to teach you either.
I think it's super important to be like with a trainer that you can look up to, or like have someone that's pushing you. And a lot of times if you have a trainer that's one, not fit, not doing the things that they're telling you to do, like what is driving you? Like there's no motivation there.
And that's why, as much as like I've competed so much and I keep going back and forth, because once you compete, you realize how much really goes into it. At first, you're kind of like, oh, it's fun. And then after a while, you're like,
Yeah.
it's fucking miserable.
Yeah, it is.
And,
It is miserable, and it kind of it makes you like. For me right now, I'm finding that I'm a little bit less patient with my.
A little bit. Oh my God. So yeah, you
A
have no.
little bit.
You lose all
Nah,
patience.
just a
I'd be doing the
little bit.
Stairmaster and just start crying for no reason. I swear to God. I don't even,
Oh my God, I was crying in my car the other day. I'm like, why am I
Yeah,
being
it's
such
just-
a little baby?
it's-
Like break
no,
down
it's weird.
crying, and I'm like, what is going on right now? Like bawling, and I'm just like, why is this
I
happening?
don't know. Yeah, you
Like,
just
like,
have like these insane. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
strange. But I think every time I do a show, I truly realize and learn so much more about training, my clients, dieting. You learn stuff that you can't learn anywhere else, and you learn it about
Yeah.
yourself, and you learn it more and more, and that's why you become a better and better coach and trainer. So when I see all these trainers that don't go through that process, that compare themselves to us,
Yeah, I
You
think
just
you
can't.
definitely to be able to push somebody to their like maximum potential, or like
You have to
push
have gone through
you
it.
have to push yourself to your maximum potential, or push yourself through fears and things like
and
that.
you can't stop, because as soon as you stop, you forget again. So you
Yeah.
have to constantly maintain that like position of understanding, how to always get excellence in yourself to demand excellence in someone
Yeah.
else. I think as long as you do that, your gym and your trainers and your staff will always have, a strong foundation. You'll always have great clients. But as soon as you get lazy and you're not pushing yourself to those limits, I think everything kind of stops.
Yeah, and they come to you. People see that. Like I find I never have to go looking for clients. The clients always come to me. I don't do much advertisement of clients, but people see the work that I put in. People
sure.
see that every single morning I'm up before
Sure.
almost everyone on my Instagram. There are people DMing me, "You're up," and I'm getting home.
For sure.
Like or so. We're leading by example, and that's key. Actions speak louder than words, and we're leading with our actions, and not a lot of people can say that they do the same. So
Yeah. So if any other gyms are watching this, you guys have anything similar, please put it out. We'd love to see it. Send it to us directly and let us know what you guys are doing.
tag
It's,
us, guys. Tag us.
All right, I'm done. Oh. Should we do 2 30-minute? How do you want to break it up? We should just put the whole thing up.
Don't put the whole thing up.
Yeah, it's good. So good.
Jesse's gonna have